guys, I'm Abna Richardson.
And I'm Michael Cole Richardson.
And together we moved back to Ghana 3 years ago, and we're here to tell you all about the ins and outs of this great journey. Don't miss out, guys.
Miss Drew, your hostess for the mostest, and of course we are back again with yet another video. Now today we have got very, very special guests, but before we get into that, I need to remind you to please like, subscribe and comment, because this one is gonna be a banger and we always want new family to join us. So of course you guys know is an episode of Roots, where we speak to people from Ghana that are Ghanaian that might just not sound like a typical Ghanaian like myself. Today I have got a lovely, my adopted older brother and sister basically in Ghana, and I'm being basically a terrible sister because I don't come as much. But introduce yourselves. I know they're looking at me like,
Hey, where have you been? This one. There's fire on the mountain.
Yes.
Mountain. And we're gonna get to that. But you asked for an introduction. I'm gonna be
Yes. All right. So
ladies first.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I am Abna Richardson, one half of Michael Richardson, and we have a family of 3, so we make up a family of 5.
wow.
And I will allow him to introduce himself.
Sure. So again, I'm Michael Cole Richardson. We, as Abna said, we've been married for 15 years, and we have 3
goals,
children.
guys.
Our eldest is 12, 10, and 5.
I love that. Now, you guys, you don't sound like you're from Ghana. So, what's the story? Because we know you moved over here.
Yeah. Well.
Yes.
Okay. Should
Yep.
we take it in parts?
I'll let you take the first bit.
Go on.
Cool. All right. So we were both born and raised in the UK up until fundamental ages of about 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he was 4 when he first came over, and I think I was 3. Came over and lived here for about 8 to 9 years.
Wow. Okay. This is a nice plot twist, guys. Come on. Come on.
If you come over often, you would know all of this. But yes, every opportunity I would So yeah, so we came here, lived here for a bit, and then we moved back to the UK.
Back to the UK.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michael, did you move together separately?
Separate lives.
Okay, go
At this point in time, I didn't know who she was. She didn't know who I was.
He hasn't seen his darling yet, so let's go.
So yes, so similar to us, our family moved back for a few years after being born in the UK, and then returned back to the UK for me about 6 years old, and was in the UK thereafter.
Until
we met and.
All right, so now you guys met, and then did you decide together that you wanted to come back to Ghana, or what inspired the move back to our motherland? And how long have you guys been back?
Okay, so I'll work backwards with that question. So we've been back 3 years.
Okay.
We came just before COVID.
Oh wow.
So had no idea any of that was going to happen. Now the backstory to that was when I met Michael and we were courting, his plan was always to come back to Ghana.
Oh.
Said, if you're not with this plan, then we cannot move forward. So I would put this to the back of my mind, because this was, let's say, 2007-ish.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so the economy in Ghana was just starting to boom. People were just starting to come over. But I had this regressive mindset of, why do you want to come to Ghana? There is nothing yet.
Which is normal. Which is normal.
Yeah. All our parents had moved to the UK.
Yeah. Friends, family, all in the UK, basically.
Yeah, everyone. Although my dad was here and he was doing fairly well.
Okay.
So I remember we came over 2007 and I could see what people were doing, and I thought,
in 2007?
2007. So
okay.
Then.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's
all right.
Yeah, so all the way back then, but you could see things were changing, Drew. Like on the ground, you could see that people had plans, people were buying up land, and I thought, I want to be a part of this. And I don't want to come back when we can't invest, because I could see all the foreigners were investing and we weren't able.
In 2007? Can you see that, guys? If you're real, you're not jumping on the wave just now. Eesh.
Yes.
These guys, clearly, they haven't said it, but their money long, because they were in from the get-go.
Oh, but you know what? The thing about it is, it's those who invested early. So, the places like Community 25, at the time, I had a cousin who invested in the early 2000s, and that was
Basic
At the time, it
bush.
seemed like a lot of money, but it was nothing. It was the Zongo behind the Zongo.
Yeah.
You know, it was far out. But all of a
Now-
sudden, it's a town. It's developed, and if you
Yes.
had that foresight and that capital available to invest it, then you know.
Then that was it.
Yeah, it worked for you.
So Michael, I want to know, is it because you had the forward thinking and you could see the future that yes, this place is going to be great, or it was just, do you know what, my heart is actually here? What was it that really made you say, do you know, whether you like it, be part of the plan or be out of it?
So, you know what it was? I think for me, growing up in the UK, you buy into the system of anyone can be anybody. You can be whatever
Speaking my
you want.
language.
You know, work hard and you can achieve anything. And then you get to a point and you realize that was a bit of a lie. You know, there's a glass ceiling there somewhere,
Yes.
and it's double glazed.
Yes.
So, you know, I think I came home on a trip, my first adult trip, as you know, back to Ghana. I came with a friend who'd never been to Ghana before, you know, and for us that was his first trip to Africa.
Wow.
You know, so I was
Oh
his
my
tour
gosh.
guide, and I brought him to my hometown on one of our trips, and you know, my cousins were speaking Fanti, and I couldn't really understand. I can understand it a little bit, and I was trying to translate it in English and tell him the conversation's going on. I was missing half of it.
Yeah.
And then one of my cousins said something. He was like, and I wanted to respond. I wanted to respond back in Fanti because they're all speaking Fanti, but I couldn't do it. So I said it in English. And the way one of my cousins responded, he was like, you're in Canada, Mawa ho, which was like, we don't speak English here.
Aish.
And at that point, whether he meant it or not, I don't know what, but it cut me.
That
like
was a
knife.
trigger.
It was like somebody got a knife and just
Eesh.
gutted me. And it was at that point I realized that, you know what, my language is not just there to make sure I don't get ripped off by taxis or BNCC, but it was actually more. It is more to it. There's the history, the heritage, the identity, which I just discarded. And I said,
I
you know
love
what?
that.
I need to go back and do something about it.
Wow.
From there, I said, you know, I need to learn the language. Whether it's my language, whether it's Tree, I need to learn one of the Ghanaian languages. And that's where the journey was. On that trip, I actually met Abena. So.
Oh, what, in Ghana?
In Ghana.
When you came on a random, you know, I'm going to be a tour guide, then you ended up meeting the love of your life. And then at the same time, he's like, I need to get more connected with my local language. I love this. This is actually amazing. You know, I would have never guessed.
We have a story.
Yeah, for real. There is a real story. Okay, so now, fast forward, we've got 3 kids later. You're actually here.
Yep.
Talk to us about your experience, because so was it always, this was the year, what, 2019, or
Yeah.
2019 was always the year you were planning on moving?
No, we moved it forward, didn't we? We said,
Yeah.
we kept on seeing the development. I think as we kept on going, we'll come in twice a year, and we saw opportunities, and we're like, hey, Charlie, you know what? We said we'll make it, we'll push 2 years time from now, we'll come, but then we asked ourselves, why wait?
Yeah, I remember.
That's
there
a
was
good question.
Yeah, there was a time when you said we're going to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
And then he went one further and he started telling everybody that we're So I was like, why are we doing this one?
Like it's actually happening now. You're saying it, you're speaking it into existence.
When
It's
you start
happening
telling
now.
people, you can't go back.
It's true.
You can't go back. Yeah.
It's like you were just saying a minute ago, like if you decide you're just going to come here and you're going to go back to Ghana, people are going to be like, why did you come?
Okay, so I guess you were ready and you were like,
Oh no, at this point, he'd already done the I told you so.
okay, he's like, don't act surprised now. I gave you warning.
Yeah.
That's it.
What a guy.
And there was a build-up and plan. as well.
Okay,
I think
that's good. Okay, good. So you guys had a plan.
Yeah.
You had a plan and you're like, right, this is the year we're doing it, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's what, this is the beauty of Ghana. Now you had your plan. Did everything go to plan in your first year?
Okay, so it's interesting how we plan.
We have a plan and we have a plan.
So with me, I tend to be more the one that speaks to people a lot more. I speak the language. The children speak Tree as their first language. So assimilating ourselves and immersing ourselves in the culture wasn't that hard.
Okay.
In that sense. But we were still,
Because you are able to speak Tree.
yeah, and the culture is quite familiar to me and so on and so forth. Michael's like, that's not enough.
Ooh.
So Michael does the spreadsheet thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh my,
Shout
the
out
numbers.
to the spreadsheet gang.
The
You know who you are.
So when we used to come, often, like he always said, he would get spreadsheets out and then he would speak to people about how much the cost of living is, food, education, extracurricular activity. Our children are homeschooled, but we do a lot of extracurricular activities.
Right.
So how much all of that is going to cost, utility bills, all of that. So we had tried to, as much as we can. He had tried to as much as we can.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Ghana doesn't have a social security system that would lift your head above the tide.
No
so
extra benefits.
You better make sure
anything,
whatever you're getting yourself in for, you are fully aware. And that's my approach. I can't sleep at night not knowing that I've at least tried to plan a provision.
Yes.
And it's not just me. If I'm a young guy by myself, I can sleep on the floor somewhere. I won't care. But
it's a family.
I can't pull my family to say, hey, let's go and sleep on the floor because we have no money.
Oh my God.
So within your power, you obviously have to prepare. So I remember we were going to the big supermarkets. I was there taking pictures of the prices, comparing my shopping list that we do in the UK and here because like I said, I don't want to be there, please, uncle.
I
didn't calculate
that one
correctly.
is true. We can't have that. That's probably the worst.
You don't want to be there. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now there's too many questions, guys. There's too many questions, as always. Right. 3 years in, how would you describe your journey with 2 words? Oof.
This is where we contemplate. This is where we go.
Yeah, chin rub.
Yeah, chin rub. 2 words. For me, I think it would have to be insightful and impactful.
Oh, I was gonna say insightful and empowering.
Oh, now these guys are deep. They're meant to be, because I wasn't even expecting that.
He was trying to outdo my bro.
Interesting. Next time we should write down paper.
Elaborate. Why? How has it been?
Okay, so because I went first. He always does this. He lets me.
Ladies first. Ladies
Puts
first.
me out there on the chopping board. But okay, so insightful because when we first came, we didn't really know what to expect. We had an idea of what it would be like, but just going based on holidays and things like that. But our children always said one of the best things about being here is seeing people that look like them, spoke. Yeah, it's not the going to the restaurants, it's not the going to the beach. Seriously, sis, it's identity.
Wow.
It's deep. Yeah, and you just think children see
This is gonna give me goosebumps, guys. Whoa, for real.
Yeah, seriously.
You would have never thought,
No, seriously. So that has been a real awakening for us. Like getting them to just immersing them in the culture and humbling as well, because you realize that it's not just you that needs to be with your people, like your kindred spirit and whatnot. The children need it from day dot, and it actually reminded me of when we used to come here. We'd always leave, and I'd be crying at the airport.
Oh,
yeah, I don't want to go.
Okay.
Yeah. And then impactful, I think, because when we came here, we had a plan.
Yeah.
And we had a plan to take the people, so we were doing something in the UK before, which was taking the children that were there from all different backgrounds and whatnot, and putting them in a workshop program that was teaching children about things they don't necessarily learn at school.
Okay, like?
So apart from the culture, the language, the heritage, we teach them like financial literacy.
Okay, that's good.
Entrepreneurship,
yeah.
Public speaking.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, and things like mortgages, rent.
Interest payments.
Yeah, interest rate.
For kids?
Yeah. They will break it at 5 years
I wish I went to this school.
You know what? The funny thing is, we set it up because we wish we had these things.
Oh,
when we
that's
were younger.
amazing.
And just trying to create a community. Because I remember when we were in the UK, I knew 1 or 2 children who went to Yoruba school. But
Yoruba school?
yeah, 1 or 2, but just 1 or 2. But
Like that was actually a thing?
I'm telling you, it was few and far between. But that didn't really happen in the Ghanaian circles. And I had friends who were Bengali, who were Indian and Cypriots, and they went to their little schools on the weekend, but we didn't have those. And because of it, there was a lack of identity, lack of pride, and a lack of community. So we said, we wanted to start that up with Destination Africa, and that was one thing that we did.
I like that. Okay, and that was a beautiful segue. Destination Africa. Now tell us a little about it. Is it just homeschooling? And what was the brain behind it? Why?
You know what?
Why?
I think. So the why was really, it was part of our process. I think as we were getting as we got married, one of the conversations we had was, as I told you before, like not being able to speak the language really burnt me young. And I said, you know, I don't want my children growing up feeling like they don't belong. You know, felt like you're not really part of the UK and you're not really Ghanaian because...
I have this all the time,
you know, so I said I wanted Twi to be the main language in our house, a primary language.
From the get-go?
From the get-go. So the children spoke it and so on. Fast forward a couple of years, the second one came and people are like, how come your children speak Twi? So when we do things, we don't like doing them in halves. Like some people, like they're happy to be able to speak the language, but then they can't read it or they can't write it. I'm like, well, you know, if you had a French teacher and they can only teach your child how to speak French and they couldn't read or write it, you'd be like, who's your French teacher? You know, so because of that, we said we wanted to do it properly. And then people are like, wow, how do you manage to teach your children to speak Twi in the UK and they can speak Twi better than most children?
Yes.
And they've never been to Ghana at the time. And we said, you know, let's start putting something on for people in the community who want their children to learn about African culture.
Yeah.
And that's basically how Destination Africa started, and we continued from there.
Okay, so Destination Africa is basically a school teaching, is it only young people?
So it's
young kids?
We base it at families. So we always say, you know, pay for the children and the adults come for free. You know, and you know, you learn so much in just partaking through the content, and sometimes we even realize that, you know, there's so much we didn't have. When you research some of the topics and so on, you're like, wow, this is empowering. And this is the foundation that a lot of people need in order for their children to shine in any environment. So yeah.
That's amazing. You're giving your children an opportunity to learn more about the culture. And I guess, like you said, it's more empowering for them as individuals. But why did you decide homeschooling and not public school or even international school when they're in Ghana?
Okay, so we've always homeschooled. So we homeschooled in the UK up until the oldest was about 9, and then we transitioned and we came over. And I think homeschooling just allows you to really invest in that child's speciality. So if a child wants to invest their time in architectural engineering or baking, or whatever it may be, you can do that for the child. And then with socialization, it's not just peers that are their ages for most of the year. You can take them to voluntary groups, you can take them to old people's homes, you can take them, I don't know, horse riding to really social awareness, emotional, you know, skills and things like that. So how to speak to people, how to engage with people. So that's why we mirrored what we were doing with Destination Africa, because it's for families. And So one of the other reasons why we started DA was because, you know, all too often you just hear, oh, our children, we're second best, we are falling behind, we can't compete.
You have to work 10 times as hard.
And all of that. And you find that the way that we've been conditioned is that if you get paid today, Drew, and you need to find yourself an electrician, the last person you're looking for is a black electrician, or the last person you're looking for. It just doesn't. So I was thinking, why does that automatically come to us that as soon as we get our money, we just expand it in another community, when what they do is they make sure it's handed and circulated all throughout their community before. So I was like, hey, this thing, it's a trust element. And when you look at the Polish, you look at the Chinese, since they go to the UK, they will all be sleeping 12 in a room, and before you know it, in that same street, everybody's got a house. So I was like, okay, this is what we have to do. We need to get the children together from a very early age, so that when they're older and they need a plumber, they need an electrician, this, that, they're not looking outside of their community. And I think one of the biggest triggers for us when we were in the UK, we had a Turkish guy bring his children, 3 and 5,
to DA. Wow.
And we asked him, so his children were just learning how to speak English, because with them they don't play, they will ensure that their children speak their language first. So I remember we asked him, like, why are you bringing your children to DA to learn about Africa? And he was like, oh, I was speaking to my son, who was 5 at the time. He said when he grows up, he wants to go and do business in Africa. Sis.
Do you really think children know, like proper know what they want to do from that age?
I think even if they don't.
Yeah, even if they don't, the vision is there, the mind is there. So, okay, it may not happen, but the fact that he's thinking about this, he's not thinking about being a policeman or a doctor or a nurse. He's thinking about doing business in Ghana. It may not be Ghana, it may be somewhere else, but the mindset is there, the vision is there, and that's what's
so amazing that you guys actually pick up on that, and then all right, cool, that's what you said, let's work on it, instead of no, be the doctor, no, be the dentist, be the pharmacist. I was told to be a pharmacist. Me,
Oh, sis.
Hey.
That was side-eye too. She knows who. Drew the pharmacist.
Sis.
Please.
It's got a ring to it, though.
It's got a ring to it. Drew the pharmacist.
Guys,
But you
please.
know what? I have
The
to
way that I
say-
talk this much, you think I could be a pharmacist?
No, but you know what? I can see the fulfillment that you have in what you like. Even when you speak, Drew, it's so natural. Like it's just you.
Oh, when you find yourself, you found yourself.
Yes.
This is it. You find yourself. I'm just imagining you in a white coat, standing. No offense to pharmacists. You guys are doing great. But it's like I just can't imagine it. So like to invest in that. And yesterday I was speaking to a friend of mine, and she was like, you know what? As African children, we're taught to go to school. We're taught different like foreign curriculums, foreign languages, foreign ideals, foreign history, and then you go to like Asia, you go to Germany, they're being taught about mining. They're being taught about African research.
Wow.
So she was like, in actual fact, our children are being prepared to go abroad to serve other people and build their economy. Yes. And their children are being prepared to rule us in our own countries.
This is this is too deep. It's even too long to be the title, but I need this. I need this segment right now. I need this part. Wow.
Yes, I was shook it. I was like, are you serious?
But that's the real.
That is.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many people do we have in your school right now? Because you started off with just your kids when you came to Ghana. Would you say it was easy getting, I guess, the Ghanaians or the locals to understand your way of teaching, or has it been a difficult journey now?
No, so we had about 50 children back in the UK. We came here, we had about 60 children.
What?
Yeah, and it just grew. And we don't even call what we do a school. It's a workshop on the weekends where children come. Everybody says it should be once, like 5 times a week, once a day. But we do it that way, and then we started a new community about 3 weeks ago because we recognized the need for community. In 3 weeks, Drew, this thing has grown to almost 500 families.
Stop! You guys are doing too much. You're doing too much. What?
Seriously, sis. And I think there's just that need. So when we have this conversation, this hearing about other people's journeys, it's eye-opening.
100.
Yeah, it's eye-opening. So thanks for this platform, because it's...
No, but this is good, because now if you are deciding to come to Ghana, or you're already in Ghana and you want your child to know, this is, I guess, more for families, but even me, I need to be coming to this.
You're becoming a part of the family.
I have to. You'll be becoming, and literally, it gives you more of not just, it gives you more of your culture. This is what we need. And to be honest, I would say, even being for me, when you spoke about not understanding, I was like, let me just be silent, because how many times have I gone to tree school and then I said, let me go to Ghana school, let me go to this school, and it's like it's not sticking because like it wasn't with me from the get-go. So yes, being able to walk around, because I always get, oh, you're not Ghanaian because I'm British, I have a British accent, but when I'm in London, oh, you're not British because obviously you don't look like us. But being able to know deeper about the culture, not just the Kwame Nkrumah or whatever, but you know, how we act and how we behave, it's necessary.
Yeah.
It is.
And even touching on what you said, it goes even deeper. Like sometimes you're saying, oh, maybe it's for families, but in African culture, you are an uncle, you're an auntie, you are a mum or a dad. You know,
Yes.
some people, someone came and said, oh, why do people call you daddy? And I'm like, it's a term. It's almost like they're recognizing you as an
a bit of a
elderly figure.
respect, yeah.
You know? So, and that happens, even if you don't have children, you still are a mother or father to somebody. Your words can be just as powerful or as insightful. And that's African culture. And it's about almost sometimes tuning into that and realizing that sort of responsibility you have as well. So
Love that. So what would you say is one of your biggest disadvantages or challenges being a family and being in Ghana? Moving from the UK?
I think, one of them for us is finding things for the children to do.
Oh, this was my question. Because you're saying horse ride, and I was like, tell me how many and how often and how affordable.
Absolutely, yeah, it is over here.
Yes.
So it's all of that. And you know, sometimes, like you guys were just saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Yes, it does. But at the same time, we're living in an age where you have to be that change that you want to see. So, my sister, when horse riding isn't going to Muhammad, you have to turn that. So yeah, when we started this village, part of it was to come together, empower families, empower people in their businesses, support one another. And the rest of it was to find activities for children to do in Accra. So So now we have arranged activities. We've got everything from leadership, where next week we're going to the Houses of Parliament. We're going to be speaking to politicians, and then they're going to have an opportunity to speak about their concerns. We have baking, we've got so many. We've got surfing.
Wow.
Yeah, there's so much.
Speed networking for children.
Yeah, speed networking for children.
Imagine.
Yeah, entrepreneurial markets. The children who have their own businesses will set up, they will sell for the day. We're going to teach them about profit and loss, all of that. So it's like, my sister, if those things are not happening,
you make them happen.
Yeah.
But then you guys must be super busy. When do you guys get hubby and wifey time?
We have to make it.
We have to make
Did you
it.
see the love in their eyes?
You'll
guys?
be like, children, can you look after yourself for 14 days? Don't open the door to strangers. No, it's usually a month. We're going for a month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You have to find time, isn't it?
Yeah,
we find time and make time, a few hours here, a few hours there. And the good thing about Ghana is you can always get help.
Yes,
You know,
that's a good thing.
and
I was
that's the
going to say what's a
difference.
positive, so yeah.
The isolation in the UK can be tough because everyone is managing their own, and it's your four walls, you're homeschooling, you're cleaning the house, you're doing the shopping, you're doing the errands, you're paying the bills, you're working,
It's
everything.
a lot.
It's a lot to juggle.
It's a lot.
But at least in Ghana, you feel like that pace, when people appreciate, you know, what you're trying to do,
Yeah.
and they do come alongside
Yeah.
you. So that's definitely one of the benefits.
So then would you encourage people to come to Ghana individually, or you would encourage other families to pick up their 3 kids as well and just come and make life in Ghana? What's your take on that?
My take would be, you know what, plan and ask yourself, is it for you? You know, can you wake up, and depending on what you can afford, depending on the lifestyle you want and your purpose, you know, is it something you can do? You know, can you live without having lights for a few hours?
Yeah.
Maybe possibly a day. You know, are you willing, is your why bigger than the things on the surface? So
Is your
that's
why
the
bigger
question.
than the things on the surface? Think about it. Oof.
So yeah, I mean, I'll put that to people first. You know, if you want a comfortable life,
Comfortable
Ghana
is relative.
is relative, but then also Ghana isn't the most comfortable place by itself. You know,
Yes.
there are more comfortable places in the
Yes,
world.
yes.
But if you want to achieve something, if you know, feel like I want my children to belong and know and look around and see the Minister of Finance and this guy and that guy and
Be like,
and
me
know
too, that could be me.
That double glazed ceiling, it's not there. You know, then definitely.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Can you top that?
Competition time.
Well, what can I say? You know, it's really interesting just hearing you both say Ghana isn't for everybody, because again, like you both said, the UK isn't for everyone. And our parents picked themselves up and went to a foreign country with cold and prejudice, and they made it work.
That's true.
You know, and the reason we're here is because we felt a calling to come home. So like he's saying, know your why and understand it's not going to be perfect. There are many things that we complained about in the UK, which is why we came.
Of course.
And we've come here, and you know, ECG being the electricity, sometimes you will have light off for a very long time.
Oh.
You know, all this,
When you need light the most.
you're there in the heat.
Oh.
You know, it's like sometimes the mobile phone, the Wi-Fi isn't working as it should. But people sometimes say lower your expectations. I say change your expectations, because sis, if you go to, you know, somewhere like the States, you can work for the money, but a lot of it's going back in the taxes.
100%.
Yeah, so it's like you say, it's relative. Know your why, but understand that there are things that you are going to have to juggle with. If you're up for the challenge, go for it. You are going to have sometimes house helpers that are going to try and dupe you, that are going to try and take from you. There's all of that, but if you can overcome it, it makes you that bit wiser, that bit stronger, and the endurance is deep.
Yeah, I was going to say, would you say coming to Ghana, you've learned something about yourself?
Yeah,
Oh,
most
definitely. 100%. Like, I think, you know, even in the cultures, you know, the culture in the UK is a very different culture, where here people have sometimes a very different approach to how they interact and deal with people, the social balances and so on. And you're like, oh wow, this person really goes for it. And then you have to adjust, because I always say, we all speak in English, but we all not understand in English.
Yes.
At times.
Yes. That is very true.
And you have to sometimes read between the lines and see, the person said yes, but does he really mean yes? Or does he mean I'm saying yes to make you happy?
Yeah.
And so on and so forth.
That is so good.
Yeah,
that is so good.
Yeah, no, and I have to say, you know, because everything is all equal in the UK, when we first came, the house help, you know, like sometimes you're like, oh, I'm asking them a little bit too much. I don't want to do. And before you know it, they will become my dad. Look at your face. You see it.
I've already just been like, first mistake.
And it's almost like we all go through the same, like you learn the hard way.
You have to. You have to.
This is it. So.
Oh my goodness, guys, we can sit here for ages, but I need to ask you my last question and think about it deeply.
Sure.
Now, I am here, Ms. Drew, and I'm offering to change your life and give you $10 million to say, here, this is for you to pick up yourself and leave this city. Are you taking it?
Yeah, I'll leave it and I'll go to a brief.
No, I said city. Oh
Finish.
my God, he's smart.
Finish.
He is smart.
The show is over.
And now, folks, it's the end of the show.
I should go, take two.
No, that was really smart. Let me reword. Leave Ghana. To leave Ghana, will you take it?
10 million.
10 million.
It's on there. It's on the chopping board.
I have the cash. It's in the car.
Abuja?
Abuja. We can do Abuja.
Hey.
Mombasa?
Yeah, when she's not looking, we'll come back.
She said,
We'll charter the private jet.
This is it.
With the 10 million.
By that time, we'll have our own jet.
come on. Hey guys, basically it's a no from them. They'll go to across the border, they'll go to our sister nation and then
When she's
sneak
not
back in.
looking.
Sneak back in.
Yeah.
So then you really believe that Ghana is the future?
For us.
Definitely. For us, I think, you know, I remember we used to teach the children about it and so on. But for us, being in the UK and, you know, talking about Africa being a change, being a future, but we're not putting our money where our mouths are. And it's like, it's a bit of a contradiction.
Eesh.
Where for us, we felt, you know, it was our purpose, it was our calling. We wanted our children to have those experiences. Us living in Ghana in our informative years have stuck with us through our times in the UK. And always showed us there was another life.
Yeah.
And, you know, for the children to see that, to gain and have opportunities, which they wouldn't have some of these opportunities in the UK. For us was a no-brainer.
It's a no from them.
Yeah.
No offense, UK. Say it.
When we were coming over here, there were so many people that we used to look at, we used to watch just for inspiration and sight, like, what's it going to be like when we go? Who's doing what on the ground? And I'm just sat here thinking, it may not be the grandest scheme, like in the grandest scheme of things, but if we hadn't come to Ghana, we wouldn't have met you.
It's going and it's coming.
It's going and it's coming. So for that, we're staying, man.
Come on, guys, because Drew ain't going anywhere. So we're here. I love this. Oh, guys, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Before everyone goes, because we need more people to come to the school, because obviously the school is keeping the light. I'm joking. But how can what are you guys doing? How can we follow you, even just on the weekends, to bring their kids or families over for socializing skills? I like that.
Definitely.
Where can we reach you guys and find you guys?
Okay, so guys, you can check us out at the Afro Parenting Village. Check that out. We have the WhatsApp group and also Destination Africa.
You guys are on YouTube too?
We're
Yes,
on
we're on
YouTube,
YouTube,
yeah.
yeah.
Dest Africa group. We talk all about parenting, everything to do with empowering. We've got resources on there and everything. So I don't know if you're going to leave the links.
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect.
So
Love
check
it.
out. Check it out. Be part of the village.
Be part of the village.
Be part
make
of the
a change.
village.
I always say to people, even if you're not ready to come back to the continent, wherever you are, whether you're in Minnesota in -10 or whether you're baking in Australia, teach your children about their culture and their heritage. Start from wherever you are, connect with that community around the world, and let's make that impact.
Make that impact. Guys, I'm gonna finish talking with them, but the conversation with y'all is over. It's your girl, Miss Drew, your hostess with the mostest. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Honestly, it has been amazing. Make sure you follow them as well, because big things are happening. Ghana is the future. See you guys in my next video. Mwah.